don't want it just to be about the caps and that. Even if I'm running along with someone, I won't mention that I'm selling caps and things like that.
Don't carry a bunch with you.
No.
And a card machine.
No, that's something secondary to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the community is the thing that I really love about all of it. Just meeting people out there and just chatting with them and hearing people's stories and things like that,
Yeah, totally.
and how they got into it. And yeah, everyone's got a story to tell.
Hello and welcome to Outlandish Season 1, Episode 3 with me, Ed Scott. My guest this week is Darryl Hanstein, a trail runner and father of two, originally from South Africa, but now living in Amersham. Darryl is the founder and chief headwear officer of Ugoku Projects, a trail headwear company. As a headwear enthusiast myself who hardly ever goes for a run without a cap on, I've tried many different brands of cap, and I can honestly say that Ugoku, for me, makes the best. Darryl's attention to detail really shines through in the product, which he's spent over a year developing in collaboration with multiple different manufacturers. Quite excitingly, there's some bonus video footage accompanying this week's episode. Check the show notes wherever you're listening for a link to a YouTube video in which Darryl walks us through 5 iterations of the same cap. It's quite mind-blowing to see how incremental improvements in each step, some of which are hard to even really notice, result in a cap that is just exponentially better. This episode was recorded in person at Darryl's home in April 2022. We discussed Darryl's running journey so far and how he went about putting together Ugoku Projects. We also spoke at length about Centurion running and the 2021 50-mile Grand Slam, during which Darryl and I actually met. I should mention that at the very beginning of this episode there is an expletive that I have bleeped out, which might seem a little out of context, but all will be revealed in the final episode of this series. If you enjoyed the episode today, do give us a follow on Instagram at outlandish.run, or you can visit the website, which is also outlandish.run. And now, Darryl Hanstein. Cool. Well, Darryl, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks very much.
It's a good opening to talk about shit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for welcoming. We're in Darryl's lovely house here in Amersham. How long have you lived here?
Amersham. It's been probably 5 years now.
5 years?
Yeah.
And you were London-based before that?
Yeah, coming in from West London, as I think majority of Amersham is, all from West London heading over to Amersham.
Yeah, it's sort of...
When you find out about the schools and that, you're like, oh yeah, maybe I should move. And
Yeah.
that was what happened with us.
But you're not originally from the UK, right?
No, from South Africa originally, moved over here 2004, so January 2004, came over with like a little wheelie carry-on suitcase and a skateboard, and that was it. And
cool.
Yeah.
Did you run in South Africa, or is this a more recent thing?
The ultra stuff started off more recently, but in South Africa and that, I ran some stuff for the school. And being a really small school, like to get on the 100-meter team wasn't very difficult.
Yeah. You ran sprint?
Yeah, I wasn't very good at it, but being a very small school, if you get third place at the 100-meter, you make the relay team for inter-school, and just got absolutely obliterated. We went to a different school, and that it's the teams were so much better than us. We were like from a small town, probably similar population to Amersham,
Which is what, like
22,000, I think, like that. Yeah.
I've always thought it was bigger because it's got a tube station, and you just associate it with like it being significant because it's got a tube station, but it's actually smaller than the town I grew up in, which is
If you're around the tube station early hours of the morning and that's coming off the train from London, there's a lot of taxis in that because a lot of people come in here and then just taxi to wherever they're living and that. So
yeah, of course. On the subject of like living an adventurous lifestyle, you love the great outdoors. How do you find living in the southeast in Amersham? Like you're right on the footsteps of the Chilterns here, right? So you've got a lot to explore.
Yeah, I love it. That was the best part about moving out here, because we were in Northolt before we came out here, and I'd often head over to that park where you got the 3 lumps, which is all the...
Oh, right.
Do you know the 3 hills when you're heading on the A40? There's
possibly. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
There's those 3 hills, and that was all waste dumped from Wembley.
Oh, great.
They were dumping it there, and then that was the sort of thing they were going to do, was make the park, a lovely park with a couple of little lakes at the back, little ponds. And
right.
I used to just run there, which is about 2 kilometers from the house, run up those hills and then run back down and then run home again. And then coming out here and you've got access to all the footpaths. Yeah. And it's just amazing.
I mean, you can see from your window an amazing view of the trails, and you must be able to get on them within a few hundred meters, right?
Yeah, about 250 meters. Just go between the houses here, and then you're across the road and you're on the trails.
It's a dream. So you don't do much road then, I take it. Although in winter around here it can get pretty
if it gets
claggy.
When it's dark. If I get back home and it's dark, I'll often just go on the roads. Yeah. I think it's just that fear coming from South Africa originally. Heading into the woods at night is not the ideal location to be.
Yeah, I suppose not. But now that spring has sprung, I suppose it's a lot easier to go on some evening runs. Yeah, I love the trail so much. It's not good for speed work, but it's not I'm not all about speed. So you're the founder of Ugoku Projects.
Yeah.
Can you tell me in a nutshell what Ugoku Projects is?
Ugoku Projects. To come up with the name was a battle in its own.
Yeah.
Just because if you look up names online and you're trying to start a limited company, almost every single name you can come up with, even if you're just ramming letters together, that name's been taken.
Yeah.
So then we came across Ugoku.
This is Japanese, right?
It's a Japanese word which means to move. Mm-hmm. And that was the whole inspiration, was just aimed at movement. Mm-hmm. And then project is obviously working towards a goal. So it's a movement goal, so to speak. Starting it off on that, it was just a whole lot of iterations of caps. And
so you make caps for, not exclusively for runners then, I suppose. I saw an inline skater on your Instagram, right?
Yeah. I just thought it sort of encompasses a different form of movement and just getting out and enjoying. Because not everyone has access to trail.
No, of course,
people are doing different things as well. Yeah. So I thought that would be a good one to sort of incorporate.
And it's a family-run business, right? You and your wife?
Yeah. My wife and I, and she's the numbers.
Yeah.
She's an accountant, so she crunches all the numbers and tells me how poorly I'm doing.
And you went through, I have to confess, I've got an Ugoku Projects cap that Darryl gave me.
Yeah.
And it is, Darryl's my friend, so I was like, I'll have your cap. Yeah. It's genuinely the best cap I've got.
Thank you.
The quality of it is amazing. And having seen today all the iterations that you've gone through, which if you're watching this on video, you'll see you went through a lot of different versions of the caps to find the right one.
Yeah.
This isn't just a quick turnaround.
No, sadly not. No.
Yeah, but it shows, right? The quality is incredible.
Yeah. I was adamant from the beginning that I wanted something that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get so many caps that, like you said to me earlier, fall apart on you.
Yeah.
And that was important. To have
it felt like in lockdown particularly, I don't know if it was because of lockdown or because just because everyone was on social media more, but I felt like I was suddenly aware of so many more clothing companies in general, but particularly caps. I don't know why. Not going to name any names, but I bought a few, and the quality really varies.
Yeah.
So to have a cap that is just go-to reliable quality, how was that processed? Was it a lot of back and forth with the same manufacturer or with multiple different manufacturers?
Yeah, I started with a different manufacturer in the beginning, trying to keep it closer to home and have someone that I could communicate with easily and get a good product. And I know they're making caps for other UK-based companies. So I thought that'll be a good one to go to. But then I just found there were a few things that I wasn't happy with. So I wanted to try someone else. And then I got some samples made with a different company working directly with manufacturers in China. And their product was just so much more superior.
Yeah.
The cost of the product is more, because the quality of materials and things that they're using are a lot better.
Yeah.
So it makes it difficult to price the product as well, because coming new to market, you want that accessibility of product. And you don't want to outprice yourself. So that was a tricky thing to sort of work with, trying to find a good price point for that. And as a result, I've sort of put myself out of the retail field because...
Right, like the bricks and mortar shops and things.
Yeah. Because I had a long chat with someone that was helping me out from one of the retail stores, giving me the ins and outs of that, which I have no idea of because it's a completely new venture and something I'm totally unfamiliar with. And he was saying everything is 2 times. So if they buy something for £15, they're going to sell it for 30.
Right.
And I can't sell to him for 15 because it's too low. I'll be losing money straight away.
Luckily, we live in an age when you don't need to go to the big retailers to sell your product. Like you've set up quite a strong social media presence already, and you've found a community of people who are interested in the product.
Yeah. I mean, it's up and down with anything.
Yeah.
You're trying to get seen out there. Yeah. And sort of break into the market, which is difficult just to get above all the noise of the industries out there. And like you say, so many people have come out with different caps and clothing lines and things like that. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff out there.
In terms of design, like the actual aesthetics of the hat, like you've got this pink and blue one that I love, and it's got this amazing flower design on the inside. Like where did all that come from? Is that your work or is that images you found or?
Oh, that's... Yeah, from the beginning, I had certain ones that I wanted to have, and I wanted. That's the irony of the pink and blue one is I thought it would be like a more feminine-based cap.
Yeah,
but majority of the guys go for that one.
Yeah, I love it.
I actually enjoy that one myself as well. But I wanted to have this sakura sort of blossom season cap that was going to be the one, and then the mountain one was going to be the other one. And then the other cloud one was just going to be, another one of the caps in the line. And I wanted to have 2 versions of that. The panel cap sort of aiming towards the sort of, I don't know, race day cap, so to speak. And then the trucker, more ultra runner sort of style cap.
Yeah, out for a long day.
Yeah. And just to be comfortable on that long day and things like that. And then also when I went traveling and that, this goes back to the origin story of Ugoku. When I went out traveling, like around South America and different places, I always had a cap with me. Yeah. We had these cheap caps from Bali originally. They picked up there at the market. Yeah. And I carried these caps with me everywhere. Yeah. But they're the normal sort of like cardboardy peak, sponge cap. But I had carried that all over the world with me. And then I thought you see a lot of people on the plane, they got their trucker cap and it's quite pristine and they don't put it in anything because they don't want it to get squashed. Yeah. And I wanted something that you could just throw in somewhere, let it get squashed, pull it out and it takes its shape again.
You can stick it. I mean, the race ones, you can definitely stick down the back of your Ultra pack. Like you don't need to be wearing it all the time. Yeah. They're so foldable.
Yeah. And it's the same with the trucker. I wanted the same thing with the trucker, just to have that where you can squash it down and not worry about it. Yeah. You're going to take it out and it's lost its shape and it's destroyed. Yeah. And you can wash it easily and things like that. And then just pop it back on and you're good to go. Yeah. No, it really shows the amount of thought that's gone into the use. It's not just a hat. Yeah. This isn't your full-time job, right? You're an electrician? Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
So what was it that convinced you to sort of bite the bullet and start your own business?
COVID.
Yeah.
Well, the electrical business is my own as well. Yeah. So I'm sort of self-employed, so to speak, there, and started that. Been doing that for probably self-employed in that for 12 years now. Doing that, running that as my business, and then Ugoku was on the back burner for ages. I mean, I was running through the woods. Well, I've been trying to come up with something for so long.
You knew you wanted to do something.
I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to do something, and I just didn't know what the product would be. Yeah, and then
trying to find that link between ultra running and electrician. What do they need?
There's no link at all. But I was just trying to. I knew I wanted to do something different. Yeah, and then I was out for a run in the woods one day, and it just struck me like I've always had this obsession with caps. Yeah, for some reason.
Are you a cap wearer in your day-to-day life?
Yeah,
I'm the same. I don't know why. I always wear a cap.
Yeah,
I think I've got sensitive eyes. I'm always conscious that when I'm in a really white place and the sun is bright, I have to like squint. Yeah. And and I can't wear I can wear sunglasses, but I've got glasses, so it's awkward.
So it's harder, yeah.
So yeah, I'm always wearing a cap.
Yeah. And just growing up, I used to collect them. My dad was a mechanic, and then he used to bring back some of these like mechanic product-based caps. Yeah. Like you get Champion spark plugs and things like that. He used to bring these caps home, and I used to collect them. And then I have like the A-Team cap, the Airwolf cap. This is dating me badly, but
I have no idea what you're saying.
I'm sure you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I guess, I mean, when you think about the fact that you run ultramarathons, which we'll come on to, I guess it's not necessarily surprising that you are comfortable sort of trying new things and experimenting a bit. Have you always kind of been that way, a bit of a free spirit, a bit of a...
I suppose so, yeah. I've always been up for adventure and exploring and things like that. And we used to go over to what they call the Wild Coast in South Africa, which is the old Transkei area.
Where's that in the country? Like which coast?
I don't know if you know where Durban is in South Africa. And you got Port Elizabeth, which are probably the two main cities on that side. It's sort of halfway between those two. And it's a very much sort of rural African community there. A lot of people still living in the round mud huts with the thatch roofs and things like that. And we used to often hike up there. There's good surf up there. A lot of people go up there for surf, but you can buy like buckets of crayfish for super cheap. And then you just like, you camp out there. You got a fire, some crayfish on the fire, just like awesome lifestyle. Yeah.
Because one of the things that this podcast is about is, you know, the southeast of England is one of the most crowded corners of England, and living and enjoying the outdoors can seem like not possible here if you don't know about it. Coming from South Africa, which is such a much more remote country, much more untouched in some ways by civilization, like was that a noticeable shift in culture? I know it was so long ago, but
it just felt very squashed, didn't it? The space, you're just lacking that space. Yeah. Whereas over there, you got so much of it,
and land that's presumably a bit more wild.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no, particularly in the southeast of England, there's really no area that's not been touched, even woods and stuff. They've been shaped by people.
Yeah. That's what sort of, when you think about America and you see the ultras and things over there, it looks very remote.
I know. I feel like I should be in America sometimes. I don't know what it is. I've been to Colorado and I was just like,
Have you been there?
Yeah, I went there. I went there a few years ago, and it's just stunning. This was sort of before I was into ultras and stuff, so I didn't do any races, but I definitely want to do one there. But it's a different kind of experience. It's a lot more, you know, it's more demanding in some ways. It's more dangerous in some ways. Like there's a lot to be said for the sort of safeness of running in the southeast. And
you haven't got any of the snakes in that over here.
Snakes, lions, not much you're not getting altitude sickness. You're not going to get snow.
Yeah. I always see images of Monument Valley in the States, and that always is something I'm drawn to, probably watching like the Western movies with my dad when we were growing up. Yeah. We used to see like he used to watch a lot of Westerns, and then watching all those and then seeing like images of when they're riding on the horses through Monument Valley and places like that. And
I'm a big sucker for country music, and a lot of the mythology of country music is like about that open expanse and just sort of being a free-ranging cowboy. Yeah. Which I'm very much not, but I'd like to pretend I was.
Yeah.
It's clear, like from looking at your website and social media and talking to you and stuff, that a big aspect of Ugoku is not just making a good hat, but like building a community around the business. And that's obviously something that you kind of share with other businesses in this space. I'm thinking of Centurion, the company that brought us together, and other companies like Runaway. And the community is such a big aspect of it. Is that something that is really important to you as a business?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, that's on my Instagram. If you see, I probably link back to lots of other people on there. I do link back to a lot of other people on there. And that's, I don't want it just to be about the caps and that. Even if I'm running along with someone, I won't mention that I'm selling caps and things like that.
You don't carry a bunch with you.
No.
And a card machine.
No, that's something secondary to me. You know, I mean, the community is the thing that I really love about all of it. Just meeting people out there and just chatting with them and hearing people's stories and things like that, and how they got into it. And everyone's got a story to tell.
Yeah, and it can be quite isolating is the wrong word, but in everyday life, if you tell someone that you run ultramarathons, the general reaction is why, or they always say, I don't even like driving that far, etc.
Yep.
And there's quite a relief sometimes to just be with people who completely get it, and know what it's about.
Yeah. I think when Roaf did this challenge last weekend.
Yeah, so she did the 4x4x48.
Yeah.
So that's 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Yeah. She did it as a challenge to herself, but as a fundraiser for UNICEF for the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I think that brought us a lot closer together, to be fair.
I'm sure.
Running with her.
So were you crewing her throughout?
I was doing the night runs with her, and then sort of helping her out during the days.
Right.
And then there was a few other people that ran with her at times, but quite a few of them were by herself and that. And she's not a runner per se, so...
She's not a runner?
No.
But she did 48 miles in 48 hours.
She's if you look at her Strava and that, you'll see she does like an occasional 5K run on the weekend, and then all of a sudden it's like 80Ks for the week. It just shoots up dramatically.
Sounds like my Strava. Yeah. That's why I'm injured all the time.
But I think after that she has a good idea of what it's like to sort of endure and put yourself out there. I think it was a bit of quiet time as well, away from the kids,
Yeah.
2:00 in the morning, running the streets of Amersham.
What a relief. Nothing beats that. It's true though, because there is that initial hurdle sometimes of, I knew when I started running that I wanted to do ultras. I couldn't necessarily tell you why, but when you complete that first one, not even an ultra, you complete that first half, where you overcome that first barrier that you've set.
Yeah.
The relief, not just the relief, the reward of that is enormous.
Yeah.
So it can take getting over that first hump, and then you're like, I get it.
There is a little bit of relief when you're crossing that finish line, where you so badly want to see the finish line near the end. And he's like, I just want to get to the finish now. Sit down for a bit. Absolutely,
yeah. One of the strange side effects of running ultras is that quote unquote shorter distances like half marathons and 10Ks become very short.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they're more intense, but when you get to 8K in a 10K race, you're like, I've only got 2K to go. That's basically, in ultra terms, I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's a nice side effect.
I think holding on, because you know how long you can hold on for during an ultra, and then that suffering for 2 hours is nothing compared to the 6 hours or the 10 hours or however long you're going to be out there.
Exactly, yeah.
So you feel like you can hold that push.
Well, if you're 2 hours from the finish line in a 50-mile race, you're already thinking about, you're in the closing stages.
Yes. Yeah. That's when you let everything lapse, all the nutrition and the hydration. It's like, I'm almost there.
Dive into the woods. Well, we could talk about ultra running actually, because we actually met during an ultra.
That's right.
During the North Downs Way 50.
Yeah.
In 2021. How long have you been running ultras?
2019.
Okay.
Was my first one.
And that was the Tring.
So still a fresh fish, really, in the ultra terms.
That was the Tring 50K.
That was the Tring 50K.
I've still not done that race. I really want to do that.
Yeah, I was devastated at the end because you get to 50Ks and there's still 2Ks left. That's heartbreaking.
That can be a shock coming from road running where everything's, pinpoint accurate.
Marked, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, I think the North Downs Way is 52 miles.
Oh, is it?
And then the South Downs was 49. So it's a real...
Okay.
So it's a real mind game.
Okay.
So what is it? I mean, it could be hard to say, but what is it that you find so appealing about ultras, do you think? Because you've not done a road marathon, right? You went straight into the...
No, I've not done a marathon
ultra
to date yet. Yeah. No. I still need to get one of those under the belt, but it looks like a world of
It's
suffering.
a guaranteed PB.
Maybe. Yeah.
Whatever happens.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah, but I remember on North Downs Way, going back to that.
Yeah.
Mike and I came up behind this guy, had an amazing gait, and we were looking at this guy just bouncing along the trails, and then that was you.
And you looked past him, and there was me. I'm glad you said that. I think it was like, I'm struggling to recall exactly where, but it was probably 10 miles in or something. It was relatively early.
It was just before you crossed that bridge on the river.
Yeah.
Near Guildford there.
Yeah, because we ran together for a bit.
Then we ran together for a bit, and we were yo-yoing back and forth, and then you decided to take off and leave us behind.
I think it was the only race where I ran faster than you, but you had a bit of a bad day that day, I remember.
Oh, I think North Downs, you would have beat me. But was that North Downs? That was North Downs.
That was North Downs. I think
you
beat me in the other two, Chiltern Wonderland and Wendover. Because in Wendover, we were 2 minutes apart or something. It was a close
Wendover was close at the end. That was tough. That was rough.
Really tough.
Yeah. That last loop was just horrendous. I couldn't run downhill at all.
Yeah.
I was doing this like hobbled sort of walk downhill, and I could actually still run uphill, which is strange for me because my strength is downhill and not.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, my strength's definitely on the up. But everyone worries about the elevation at Wendover.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily think about the descent because those climbs are so, steep.
Yeah.
But they're kind of, I don't want to say they're easy because they're not, but they're a bit of a relief sometimes when you've been running and running and running.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to just walk.
Yeah.
No one's running it.
Yeah.
I remember Charlie, I've forgotten his surname now.
Charlie Harper,
he obviously lapped us all.
Yeah.
When he lapped me, which I'm glad to say he only did once.
Yeah.
It was on one of those climbs. It was on, I think, Chiltern Screaming is the name of that one. And I was quite relieved to see that he wasn't much faster than me on the climb. Like there's a kind of maximum speed you can do those climbs.
Yeah.
And then when we hit the flat, he was just gone. He was sub 5 minute pace. He was absolutely flying.
I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they maintain that quick speed over that distance. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I know. Gifted, I suppose. Superhuman. On the subject of suffering, do you think there's kind of is there a masochistic quality to the ultras, do you think? Is the suffering important or is it something to be avoided?
The suffering side, I think it's something to endure. So you're out there for yourself, aren't you? You got me now.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it because
it can be hard to verbalize.
It's very much there. I find after 35 Ks, I'm already in the pain cave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
because you're doing the South Downs Way 100, right? This year.
Yes.
So that's,
I don't know how I fell into that.
Is that, have you done longer than 50 miles before?
No, 50 miles was the farthest, and I was supposed to have the Serpent Trail as my stepping stone after North Downs, which would be the Serpent Trail 100.
Yeah.
You did the 50.
I did, yeah. It was an amazing race.
Yeah. Yeah. So a friend of mine, Mike, that I was supposed to be running the 100K with last year, I got injured on North Downs. I hurt my ankle and my foot badly and my Achilles. So I deferred that to this year.
Right.
So I haven't had that stepping stone to the 100K as yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be jumping into the 100 mile.
It's a long way.
Yeah. But I just figure I need to just back off the pace and just go at a much more conservative pace.
Do you think like the Grand Slam was helpful in that regard? Because it was this year-long project. It wasn't about any one race. It gave you that real sense of perspective. Because I felt like on each of them, maybe with the exception of Wendover, because it was the final one, I wasn't really thinking about running a fast time in that race. It was all about like staying healthy, staying fit.
Yeah, and that's why I was a bit panicked after North Downs, because North Downs I was injured, and then I was in physio for 2 months, trying to come back from that and try to be ready for Chiltern Wonderland. Which
lucky there's a big gap there, isn't there?
Exactly right. Because I had a niggle after South Downs, and then I went into North Downs.
They're so close together, and they were even closer because of COVID. They were 5 weeks apart, I think.
Yeah. So after 10 Ks into North Downs Way, I could feel my Achilles, and then 35 Ks in, I was in pain and just like hobbling along, and then I walked a good portion of that, and then just try to run the last bit.
Well, I have to say I'm relieved, because in the Grand Slam table I finished above you, but only because of that race. All the other ones you were faster.
Where did you come in the Grand Slam table then?
13th, I think.
Okay, I was 14.
Yeah. So
I didn't even know about that Grand Slam table, and I remember at the start line of Wendover Woods.
Yeah.
There's another guy that was running it, Ray Ramsey.
I don't think I've met him.
I met him through the slam.
Yeah.
Because you meet a lot of people through the slam.
Yeah, definitely.
And he mentioned to me at the beginning of that, I was like, I just need to stay 10 minutes ahead of you and I'll beat you on the slam table. So I was like, I wish
he'd worked out the average.
Well, I wish you had never mentioned that to me, because then the whole way through Wendover, I was trying to just stay ahead of Ray.
Did you stay ahead of him?
Yes, well, we saw him, because some of those loops you can see each other because you sort of cross over the loop.
Yeah.
And you could see each other, and I saw him, and he was probably half an hour behind me.
Right.
So I was like, Ray, you better pick up the pace if you're going to get that 10 minutes.
I think, but going into Wendover, I think I was 11th. on the slam table.
Okay.
So I dropped 2 places. So either I had a bad day or someone had a really good day. But
yeah, there was 2 guys out there that I chatted to, and they were on a mission.
Really?
So I think they were they wanted to finish high on the slam.
I think
table.
I made a strategic error that I'm going to correct next time I go to Wendover, which is this year, which is on the first loop. I took it really easy. Literally off the start line.
Yeah.
And that is obviously a good strategy in ultra running, but this is the one race where it's probably worth going a bit faster because the queues on that first climb, I was stood in a queue for like 5 minutes. It took so long to get up.
Okay.
So I lost a lot of time on that loop.
Yeah. I'd run the course.
Because you and Chris took off. Chris was like in 12th place or something at the first aid station.
Yeah, I'd a few, probably maybe a month before. Don't quote me on that, but I'd run the course with Chris. He knows the course super well.
This is Chris Peters.
Yeah,
we're talking about.
Yeah, so he knows the course super well. So I wanted someone that could show me the loop because I don't know the loop. And
when you're not there on race day, it's very hard to navigate.
Yes, and even the GPX on the watch and the amount of little parallel paths and things in the woods there.
That gully going down towards the Ridgeway.
Yeah, so he showed me the loop, and we did a couple of loops there. And I think we went back again and did another 2 loops, and we went out super hot on those 2 loops. And at the end of that, which is 20 miles, it's 10 miles a loop. Yeah. I felt like I'd already done 30 miles. So I thought not to go out too fast on the first loop, but then come race day, you end up excited, and I'm always super excited for race day, and I get there, and then we went out and. When I saw the time we had finished the first loop, I was like, we went out too fast.
What was the time, do you know?
It must have been like 150 or something like that, which for 10 miles doesn't sound fast, but the amount of elevation on that course is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. Yeah. I think my first loop was like 205, and that was largely because of the queuing, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway. Race stats, who cares? It was a great experience. Actually, each race, one thing that was really struck me, and coming back to the subject of living in the southeast, was that each of those 4 races was so different. Even though on paper, they're not far apart, they have their own character, and there was a real nice opportunity to, particularly also because they were at different times of year. It was a real nice opportunity to explore, I guess the southeast's 3 main points of interest, which are South Downs, North Downs, and the Chiltern Hills.
Yeah.
And Wendover being a particularly cool part of those hills.
Yeah, little ancient woodlands over there.
Yeah, really awesome climbs as well. A little bit Barclay-esque on some of those climbs. So coming back to Ugoku, you started the business, you launched it at the end of last year.
Yeah, that's right.
And how's it been going?
Yeah, right. Yeah, good. I feel like it's ups and downs. You sort of hit a patch and you think, it's taking off, and then all of a sudden it goes quiet for a bit, and then so it's up and down at the moment. Just trying to get visibility and get out there.
And are you planning more caps, or are you focusing on the ones you've got at the moment? In my head, I've got a whole product line, but it's just bringing that, getting the funds in, sort of the balance of getting money in to get the next product out, and things like that. And are you going to stick with headwear, or are you going to branch out?
Eventually, the idea is to branch out, but I want to have a good headwear range, and then I want to sort of focus quite a bit onto the trucker style, because I think it's a bit something a bit different to the market. Whereas the panel caps are a dime a dozen. There's so many out there. That I want to try focus on the truckers. I feel like I've got something a bit different there. Yeah,
they're a bit more of that kind of Western States aesthetic, bringing that American style.
Yeah, I like I've always liked the trucker style, so I suppose it's a bit, for me, it's a bit of a selfish product. But
no, you got to do what you like. I mean, I must confess, I love the panel caps. So please don't stop making them.
No, they won't stop. They won't stop.
Yeah. Awesome. I just have one more question, which I want to ask everyone on the podcast, which is actually, before we do that, you mentioned you got South Downs Way 100.
Yeah.
What else is on the cards this year? Are you doing anything else?
Yeah. So I've got the next one is the Chiltern Ridgeway with Runaway Racing.
Oh, awesome. Is that the 50K?
The 50K. Yeah,
that'd be great.
It's one I've been wanting to do for ages. Actually, I saw it when it first came out, and I've just been procrastinating on it.
Have you run a runaway event before?
No, I haven't run. I've run some of their social runs.
Yeah,
but I haven't done any of their races. So
they're really good.
Quite keen for that.
Yeah, shout out to Chris. They're really amazing.
Yeah,
amazing events.
And then I've got South Downs Way 100 after that. All these races have been a build-up focused towards South Downs 100 because it's my first 100, so I'm quite anxious about that. Anxious and excited, and trying to.
You're not running it with a time in mind, I take it, or are you?
Well, I want to do sub 24 because everyone wants that one-day buckle.
Yeah, that's the goal, isn't it?
You need to get that. If it's a good day, I'd like to do 22, but that's ambitious.
I mean, you've done. What did you do the South Downs Way 50 in?
9:38.
Yeah, so if you extrapolate that, slow that down, it's definitely doable.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere, someone did some calculations that, based on finish times, that if you do the first 50 miles in around 10 hours, you're on track for 24 because you'll slow down quite a lot in the second.
Okay.
But 10 hours is still relatively brisk, for 50 miles. It's not relaxed.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, so, especially with those hills as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And the weather, I mean, June, it could be anything, but in the past, that's been a really hot race I've seen.
Yeah. I think the year we ran it was really hot as well.
At the 50?
Yeah, the South Downs 50 it was a warm day. I remember getting sunburnt out there.
Yeah, I got sunburnt. It wasn't like hot, but the sun was ferocious. I actually got burnt on the right-hand side of my face because that was the south-facing side.
Yes, because you're travelling point to point. Yeah, so you're always going in the same direction.
You've always got the sea on your right.
Yes, and the sun on the same side.
That's going to make an amazing Strava file as well. These linear races that Centurion do. Just on Strava, they look so awesome because you literally traverse half the country.
Yeah, just getting back to the car 100 miles away.
Oh, God, yeah, the transport involved. Yeah.
But then I got Serpent 100K, which was deferred.
Oh, when's that? July?
That is July. That's actually 3 weeks after the 100, which wasn't planned, but it's deferred, and I can't defer it again because I've already deferred it once.
See how you feel.
Yeah.
It's an awesome race.
Yeah, the trail looks amazing.
It's stunning.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
It was strangely muddy when I did it, which was weird because it was July and it's like chalk, so it doesn't. Generally, you wouldn't think it would get muddy, but at times it was like ankle deep, which was really weird.
Was it? Okay.
But just for a few isolated bits.
Hopefully it's a bit drier this year.
It's a proper trail runner's run. It's not like wide footpaths and chalk. It's like zigzaggy.
Beautiful.
Not technical to run, but just really keeps you interested. It's not just...
That's my type of race. I like that.
It's really, really fun.
Yeah, amazing.
And on Strava, it looks ridiculous because I think the start and finish are like 10 miles apart, but you just zigzag all the way around.
Yeah, it's the serpent shape, isn't it?
Yeah. A really cool race. So the question I want to ask to wrap up is, you've run all the Grand Slam races, you've run a lot of places in the Southeast. What is your favourite Southeast scenic spot?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot now.
Where do you feel happiest? Could be your own backyard here in Amersham.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the race that I really enjoyed, and I probably just loving the Chiltern so much, would be the Chiltern Wonderland 50.
Yeah,
I just love that race. I mean, there's so much on it, and it's so different. And there's some runnable sections. There's some steep climbs. It's
that windmill climb.
That windmill.
I didn't know about that going in.
You didn't?
No, and you can see it from about a mile out. You can see the straight because it's like a straight line up the hill.
Yeah,
I just thought surely that's not where we're going.
Yeah,
please no.
That is a hectic climb. Yeah.
It's an amazing course.
Yeah, I don't even think you can eat on that climb.
It's
just very much hands on knees climbing up that.
Yeah, I got to the top of that, and the bloke in front of me just sat down, and I got a picture of him looking over the view,
trying to recompose himself.
Yeah, I don't think that's even halfway, is it? It's maybe 20 miles in or something.
Yeah, it's not that far in. Yeah,
there's a beautiful spot to run, and they've done a really good job with that course. It feels like they've really worked to pick the best spots. It's not just a random loop.
Yeah. I think you got very little road. There's lots of trail, and
even the road you're on, though, it's that nice country road.
It is
quiet,
like lane style,
and the time of year with the, it being almost autumn, end of summer. It's such a lovely time to be out all day.
Yeah, I mean that last section as well, because you're going through the woods and that on the last sort of stretch.
Oh, yeah. I was a bit delirious by then.
that part is awesome.
Yeah.
And the first time I did it, I didn't really have legs left at that point. But that part is actually really nice. Yeah. Running over there.
I remember finishing, and you were sat on the lawn.
Oh, that's
looking
right.
very relaxed. I think you'd been there.
I was giving you a shout out as you're coming past. Like, yeah.
It's such a weird finish line because it's like there's there's the crowd, but then you just like walk around the side of the village hall or whatever.
Yeah.
You're done. That's
everyone's sat on the grass. They're in the park.
Yeah, that's so
it's
good.
Nice. I like that atmosphere as well. It's a nice little finish area.
It's great.
Yeah. And you can clap everyone coming on that last stretch. And I like that. Where you can sort of just enjoy the rest of the day.
That's definitely a race I want to do again, just for that atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Darryl.
You're most welcome, man.
And
hopefully it's all concise and makes sense. And
it's a rambling mess, if I'm honest.
That's my side, yeah.
I hope you enjoyed my chat with Darryl as much as I did. When I was putting together this podcast and thinking about who I'd like to talk to, Darryl was pretty much top of my list. In fact, he was the first guest that I interviewed. Although he'd never brag about it, he is an excellent conversationalist, and we've always just had such great chats in the past, whether we are out on the trail or just sat outside a village hall in Goring, feeling pretty exhausted. If you want to find out more about Darryl's amazing headwear company, and I really recommend that you do, you can head to ugokuprojects.com. That's UGOKU and then projects. Or you can follow the company on Instagram at Ugoku Projects. And do remember to check out that YouTube video in the description if you haven't already. Tune in next week when I will be talking to a true legend of the London trail running scene, David Bone. One half of coaching duo Daz and Bone, David and his business partner Darren Strachan co-direct Camino Ultra, a running events company offering ultramarathon races right in the beating heart of the UK's capital. During the episode, David told me about how he fell in love with exploring London's hidden green spaces during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic.
I learned so much, I sort of really threw myself into the history of which London, some of these routes were routes that were, put on the map by monks and, wonderful kind of religious history and battles. In that early period, Ed, I found so many of them in or very close to London.
There are no bonus clips this week, so all that is left for me to say is have a great week, and I will see you next time.